Hi, I'm Tati, and these are my favorite books of 2018. Now, just to clear up any confusion, this is my favorite books of 2018 video. However, I'm not talking about books published in 2018. These are just books that I read and loved last year. And this may go without saying, but of course, most of these books I gave a 5 out of 5 star rating to. First up is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. This book is about Andy, who has her summer all planned out until those plans fall through. Now she has to figure out how to deal with the unexpected, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. I really loved this book. It completely surpassed my expectations, and I also really enjoyed getting to see some of the characters from Since You've Been Gone. Next up is A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This is the first book in the Sherlock Holmes series and is sort of a modern young adult take on Sherlock Holmes. If I understand everything correctly from reading this first book, in the world of this series, Sherlock Holmes and John Watson were real people, and this book stars their descendants, Jamie Watson and Charlotte Holmes. And also, apparently, in the world of this book, there are still the same stories that we have, but they're written by the same author that they are in the real world, and they're fictionalized, I think. That's the only part that confuses me a bit. Anyway, because this is the first book in the series, it covers introducing us to the characters and introducing the characters to each other, which is always one of my favorite parts of any story, and also a great mystery to be solved. I really enjoyed the twists and turns of the mystery in this book. Next up is Trouble Never Sleeps by Stephanie Tromley. This book is a part of another great mystery suspense YA series, but this is actually the last book in the series, so I can't really go into too much detail about it. But I will say that it is a satisfying end to a fantastic series. Next up is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This one is about Eliza, who is the anonymous creator of the wildly popular webcomic Monstrous Sea, and what happens when she meets Wallace, who is the biggest Monstrous Sea fanfiction writer. I really enjoyed this book, and I actually read it during the biannual Bibliothon, so if you want to hear more of my fresh, just read the book thoughts, you can check out some of those videos. Because by now we're getting to books that I haven't read in a while and I don't remember a lot about them, even though I loved them. Next up is Not If I Save You First by Ali Carter. This is a standalone, I believe, and it's about Maddie and Logan, who used to be best friends until Maddie's father moved himself and Maddie to the Alaskan wilderness. 6 years pass with no contact between Maddie and Logan. And then when they finally do see each other again, Logan is kidnapped. This is just such a fun thrill ride of a novel, and Ali Carter never disappoints. Next up is Brooding YA Hero, Becoming a Main Character Almost as Awesome as Me by Carrie Ann Doricio. This is a sort of mix between a writing guide, a story of its own, and a satirical look at all of our favorite and most hated YA tropes. I just had so much fun reading this and making the cookies from the book, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who loves reading young adult. And I will also leave the equally fun and funny Twitter page linked in the description. Next up is The Long Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the last book in the Fixer duology, so I can't go too much into the plot, but I will say it was a great read, and even though it may not have been exactly how I wish the series would have ended, the writing and the plot and the pace of the story and the characters are just so good that I had to give it 5 out of 5 stars. Also, I would love another book in this series. Next up, Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This might be my overall favorite book of last year. It's another great mystery story starring true crime aficionado Stevie, who's starting her first year at Ellington Academy, a boarding school with a sordid, mysterious past, and she plans to solve the cold case that occurred there years ago. This one was so great and twisty and suspenseful, and I just cannot wait to read the next one. Next is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. This is a very popular book here on BookTube, set in 1939 Nazi Germany. So it focuses around World War II. It has beautiful writing and a very unique narrator in the form of Death. My favorite part of this book, I would say, was definitely the writing style. However, there are a bunch of reasons to love this book, and overall it's just a great read. And finally we have Fizz Boom Bath by Isabel and Caroline Burkhoff. This is the only book on this list that doesn't have 5 out of 5 stars from me. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars only because I was being really picky and wishing some details had been really specific. But overall, I was actually really impressed with the amount and scope of the recipes in this book. And I love Da Bomb bath bombs, and I'm really glad that they released an official recipe book. So those were my favorite reads of 2018. Let me know some of your favorite reads from last year in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a like. I try to upload a new video to this channel every Friday, so subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye. I have no idea if this looks good anymore. Who is starting a new year at, that's a good way to say it. Next, I finally read The Book Thief. That was like my theme of 2018. I finally read The Book Thief. Just so good that I couldn't not give it 5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, I did a double and I would get it. This is the last book. I have no idea what to do with my hair. I'm so uncertain because I can't remember what I just read. Is that satirical? Satirical. Yeah, I think it's satirical. Great.